Hexagon is one of the most fun and skill-based game modes in Fall Guys, and there are different strategies on how to get that satisfying crown. In today's video, I will go over some strategies and tips to help you win in Hexagon more often. To start out, I'm going to go over how to play Hexagon. Hexagon is a pretty simple game mode in which players try to stay above the slime for the longest to win. Players must jump on hexagons that disappear after being stood on. There are 8 different layers of hexagons, and the lower layers have more hexagons than the upper layers. Okay, so now that you know how Hexagon works, I'm going to go over some basic moves that you will need to know for Hexagon. The first move I will talk about is running across the tiles. This move is more offensive and should be used to close off a section of hexagons for yourself or to deplete another player's hexagons. This should never be used when you have a section of hexagons to yourself, since it wastes more hexagons in a short amount of time. The second move is stalling. This is where you jump on one hexagon at a time to save time and get the full use of each tile. Many players try to use this strategy when other players are in the same section of hexagons as them, and it causes them to fall down a layer. Instead, you should use this technique after you have enclosed a section of hexagons where you are the only person on them. The third move is the jump dive. This is where you jump and then dive in midair to get from one section of hexagons to another. Once you have landed on the section of hexagons, make sure to spam your jump key, because by the time you get up, there will be a very short window in which you can jump to maintain the level that you are on. Now that you know the moves in Hexagon, I'm going to talk about some strategies to help you win more often. There are 2 main strategies, and both of them are very good for certain scenarios. Strategy number 1 is to try and stay above the other players. This strategy can be good when there are a lot of players in a game, because the layers will get depleted quickly, and you can utilize the hexagons other players leave when they fall. You can use this strategy in every Hexagon game, but sometimes when there are too many people on a layer, it actually might be better to go down one layer so people don't deplete the layer below and you fall 2 layers. This will also give you time to cut off a section to yourself so you can stall. The second strategy is to purposely fall all the way to the last layer and deplete all of the tiles in the center. This will make a huge hole that many players will fall into. To deplete the tiles more quickly, make sure to run across the tiles. Once other people fall into the layer, try to enclose a section of hexagons to stall on and get you the crown. This strategy is more effective when there are less people because it gives you more time to create a hole in the last layer. Here are some tips to help you win in Hexagon as well. Tip number 1. You can only jump dive a maximum of 2 tiles. So if there's another section of hexagons that's 3 tiles away, don't try to jump it and just instead look for a good place to drop below. Number 2. Try to jump onto empty spawn tiles at the beginning of the match to help you get a head start on other players. This will also help you because then you can look where the tiles are depleted the most and stay away from that section as you drop down to the first layer. Tip number 3. When you are stalling, look down to the next layer to try and find a good place to drop. Look for a section of hexagons that doesn't have a player on it. This is just self-explanatory. And number 4, you can actually grab people in Hexagon to cancel their jump or slow them down just long enough to make them fall down to the next layer. If you are trying to grab someone, go from the side, not from head on or from behind, because then you might fall as well. This is a pretty risky strategy, so I wouldn't recommend it unless you are confident you can pull it off. That concludes this video, and if you learned something new or you liked the video, just consider subscribing because it really helps me out. Thank you.